Hey everyone, it's Kavis, and Revision Zero is the new exotic pulse rifle from the mission Operation Seraph Shield. It's craftable, and over the coming weeks, as a part of the seasonal quest line, we will actually be obtaining alternate catalysts for it, which is a first for exotic weapons in Destiny. I think it's got a lot of potential in both PvP and PvE, and in this video I want to briefly go over the new mission and its core mechanics, as well as obviously a quick overview of how Revision Zero works. Let's start with Operation Seraph Shield. You'll need to get caught up to the current week's quest step to boot it up, so make sure to do that. Basically follow the More Than a Weapon quest steps until you get the Hidden Shape exotic quest, and it will tell you to complete the mission, which can be booted up from the helm. The mission layout is very similar to secret missions in the past, so think Harbinger, Zero Hour, and so on. I don't want to spoil too much of the mission here, so this is not going to be a step-by-step guide on every possible thing you need to do in the mission, but I will be going over the core mechanics and what you should be looking out for. This is not very difficult, so if you just want to skip this section entirely and go straight to the Revision Zero section, feel free to do so. You can just skip ahead to that chapter. Alright, so Operation Seraph Shield has a very similar difficulty feel to missions like Vox Obscura, but it's a lot lengthier, more along the lines of, again, Harbinger and Zero Hour. We have two difficulties to choose from here, Normal and Legend here is not the same as like a Legend Lost Sector. Legend here is more like the Become Legend difficulty in the Witch Queen campaign, where everything is 20 levels above you. All enemies are red in the Legend version of this, signifying that they are at least 10 levels higher than you are. All that being said, this mission will have you using familiar mechanics from the Deepstone Crypt raid with the scanner, operator, and suppressor augment abilities. Instruction pop-ups will show you what to do when you pick up each augment, and again, trust me, this is very easy to understand. It's basic gaming level stuff. You'll be picking up these augments from fallen vandals that have a symbol above their head. You can't miss it. All you need to do is kill the vandal and pick up the dropped augment, and if you die, that's totally fine. You can actually just go re-kill that same vandal to pick it up. Each of the three augments will allow you to interact with the environment in a different way, and they'll each highlight the objects that you'll need to interact with. The scanner is the first augment you'll be using, and it will highlight terminals in yellow that you need to hack. So once you hack each terminal in an area, you'll occasionally need to deposit your augment at an augment receptacle in order to unlock the next area. You'll eventually make your way to the Seraph Station in orbit, which is amazing. The team that made this, just awesome work. Continue working your way through the station using the scanner buff. There's a couple puzzles that you have to do. They're not too difficult, but they might take you a couple minutes to solve. Eventually, you will make your way to a boss fight. It's pretty easy. You'll just have to fight a couple fallen brigs and quite a few enemies. And after that, without spoiling anything, you will end up in outer space. Anyway, you'll eventually come across a red augment. This one is the operator, which allows you to shoot these panels on the wall. And just like the scanner terminals, these will need to be shot in order. The correct one will always be glowing red, and there will usually be 3 that you'll need to shoot to unlock the next area. After this, keep moving along. You'll have a couple more sections that will require you to use both the operator and the scanner, so make sure to swap between those, or if you have a teammate, one person can grab one can grab the other. Just keep progressing until you make it to the final section of this mission. The final section of this mission will have you using the blue suppressor augment. You'll need to stand within the circle underneath each of the floating blue orbs and shoot the highlighted enemy. Once that enemy is shot from all 3 suppressor zones, basically these immunity shield generators will be open up for damage. They're big, spiky looking bomb things. And once these are destroyed, the immunity shield will go away, opening the target up for damage so you can kill it. So if you can understand how all 3 of these augments work, you're actually halfway to understanding the Deepstone Crypt raid. Anyway, you'll eventually make your way to a boss room where you'll need to use a suppressor to kill him. So stand in the 3 suppressor zones, shoot the boss, then shoot the shield generators, damage the boss, rinse and repeat. It's pretty easy. And don't get nervous about this boss room. Just like the rest of this mission, assuming you're playing on normal difficulty, it's very low level and easy. My friend Giant Disco and I actually completed this in about 42 minutes, and we had no idea what we were doing. So I think going into it again, we could probably get it done in under 30 minutes pretty easily. And once the boss is killed, you'll get the ancient prototype exotic item that you'll have to take to Clovis, and after that, you get your red border Revision Zero. Boot up a quick strike or do whatever you want to complete the Deep Sight Resonance and head over to the Enclave to reshape it and finish off your quest. And it's basically that easy to obtain the Revision Zero at its base level. There is quite a bit more to do over the coming weeks with new catalysts to get, but we have to wait until then to test them all out. So you've got Revision Zero. How does it work? Well, starting off at the Enclave, you'll see that we've obviously got the ability to fully craft it, swap out different masterworks, and add enhanced traits. You'll also notice that we have 2 origin traits to choose from. Hake Light Burst Fire makes this a 4-burst pulse rifle, and Hake Heavy Burst Fire makes it a 2-burst pulse rifle. Revision Zero also has intrinsic anti-barrier, which allows it to be used for anti-barrier in any season because you don't need a mod for it. It's just built right into the gun. The exotic trait is Hunter's Trace, which states that precision hits grant targeting data. Long press reload to swap to an alternate scope, loading high damage rounds based on the amount of targeting data generated. This alternate firing mode should feel pretty similar to Vex Mythoclast. You'll see the targeting data bar on the left fill up as you land precision damage, and you can swap to the alternate mode once you fill up at least 1 bar. Each square represents 1 high damage bullet, so keep that in mind. And the amount of targeting data generated seems to be increased for majors and boss level enemies. It takes a long time to charge 5 targeting data shots from killing just minor tier enemies. So how does it do against champions? Pretty good, if I'm being honest. A few bursts will break the shield, and as mentioned, precision hits on champion level enemies seem to charge up targeting data shots much quicker. You can also pop the barrier shield by using the high damage round, and on Legend I was able to do this in 1 shot. I'd assume it would be the same on higher difficulties too, as the high damage shot does in fact do high damage. I will definitely be taking this into Grandmasters this season. I really think it's going to be interesting to use. And keep in mind, this is still the base version of the gun. We have other traits and catalysts to test out over the next couple weeks, so I'm pretty excited for it. Well, what about PvP? I took Revision Zero into a Crucible game, and I can safely say that if you're like me and you're not a top tier Crucible Guardian, trust me, I am not, you will not be getting a lot of targeting data shots. This is obviously because you need precision damage, and you can't die. I was on a 3 kill streak, and I was barely over halfway to 1 targeting shot charge. That being said, this pulse still feels really good. The Hake Light Burst Fire feels so stable, and I really feel like the reticle was just sticking to enemies. I wasn't as big of a fan of Hake Heavy Burst. The 2-round burst, it just felt weird, but maybe I just need to mess around with it more. All that to say, I will for sure be using this a lot in Crucible. Big fan. Well, I guess that takes us to the end of this video. What do you guys think of Revision Zero? Do you have it yet? Let me know down in the comments. Also, just a quick plug for my Discord. It is a very fun place to hang out and learn from other Guardians. We have helped quite a few people get their Gjallarhorn. We've done a couple King's Fall carries too. So I hope to see you there. I want to run stuff with you. All right, everyone. I will see you in the next video.